power over, power under, violence, kinship ties, and education. These are the key themes in the novel Kindred. The dominant theme of power is depicted through the institution of slavery in the antebellum setting and through the novel's various characters. Rufus threatens to sell or punish slaves to get Dana to do certain tasks for him. Dana asserts her power when she can to get the upper hand, and Alice hangs herself to escape Rufus's power. Slavery, time travel, and self-inflicted wounds all support this major theme. Their representations and responses to power dynamics. Violence is committed against slaves repeatedly throughout the novel. Whippings show them they shouldn't talk back or attempt to run away. Other punishments for escape attempts are dog attacks or bodily mutilation. The rape of women slaves is a form of routine violence. Whites show no shame in committing violence in the fields to make slaves work harder. The brutal overseers intentionally humiliate their slaves. The idea of violence looming drives the horror of slavery. Kinship ties, like the ones linking Dana to Rufus, creates the time travel calling through which Rufus beckons Dana to save his life, thus ensuring her own existence. Dana cannot fathom at times how and why she's able to forgive Rufus for his cruelties. Ultimately, she defends herself and severs this bond by killing him, though the ancestral tie remains intact through Hagar. Dana's kinship tie to Alice is marked by familial tensions as well. By working together and helping one another, the slaves form bonds tighter than blood. Bonds that stand in stark contrast to the weak ties between Rufus and his white kin. Education is a prevalent theme expressed when characters teach one another. Dana and Nigel risk much for their lessons, yet the act of learning to read empowers Nigel beyond the borders of the plantation. With the ability to read and write, Nigel may one day write his own path to freedom. Dana sees it as part of her mission to teach Rufus to be more humane toward the slaves and not treat them the way Rufus's father does. Learning to live in the antebellum era is much harder for Dana, a black woman who must continually walk a fine line between her assumed role as a slave and her actual role as a time-traveling modern woman who has privileges the other slaves don't. While living in the 1800s, Kevin uses his white privilege and knowledge of the Underground Railroad to help slaves escape.